Okay, folks, we're back at the Reg A Money Show, and as we mentioned, we have Ray Tate as a guest today. Ray is the CEO of American Gas and Technology. Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Great. Yeah, we're doing great here. And as we mentioned before, one of the major things about Regulation A that people have to understand is that your deal has to be qualified for the SEC. And Ray, your company has done that at this point. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the American Gas and Technology, how it started, and what your vision is?
Well, American Gas and Technology started in 1974 when I sat in a gas line. It was the first oil embargo. And I decided that our country was negligent in letting its citizens sit in line for fuel or walking because people on the other side of the planet wouldn't sell us oil. So I've been working on alternative energy, specifically transportation fuels, since then. I have a long history of converting vehicles in cities throughout the country. The former president of Chrysler used to work for me. Former president of Holly Carburetor used to work for me. I've just enjoyed in this industry. But what we discovered was natural gas is the fuel of choice, really, because it's plumbed into 85% of the structures across America. It's extremely clean. That's why we cook our eggs with it in the kitchen. And it's extremely cheap. The United States has over a 100-year supply of natural gas. We have more energy in the form of natural gas than Saudi Arabia has oil. And there's no market for it. I mean, imagine a gallon of gas in California at $3 and natural gas in British thermal units of energy equal to that gallon of gas at less than 30 cents. So what we decided to do is we decided to develop technology to enhance the use of natural gas so that you could put that gas in a car. So we developed and patented a machine. We went to the patent office with 60 claims that were new, novel, and unique that they issued patents on. We developed this machine that takes the natural gas and turns it into a liquid so you can then put it in your car. So we just bought a manufacturing facility up in Oregon. It's about 3.5 acres under roof. We've done $5.3 million worth of renovation to it, and we're getting ready to set up to start building 40 of these stations a month. And we're going to be sending them to California is the largest market at the moment, but up and down both coasts. We're going to be providing LNG to, which we call liquid natural gas, to fleet customers with no out-of-pocket money. We don't ask them for a nickel. We convert their vehicles to run on it. We put a station in. All we ask is that they sign a contract to purchase fuel from us at a 15% discount to gasoline and diesel as gasoline and diesel float over the next 5 years. So if gasoline goes to $10, we'll go to $8.50. If it drops to $1, we'll go to 85 cents. So there's no risk for the fleet customer. They become a clean fleet overnight, and they reduce their engine-related maintenance by 50%, and, of course, their fuel bill by 15%. So that's who we are.
This is truly amazing. Ray, and everybody, you're listening to the Reg A Money Show with Ron Costa and Miguel Dotres. We have the pleasure of having the CEO, Ray Tate, with us from American Gas and Technology. And now I understand the technology part of the name of the company, because you're talking about a very revolutionary revolutionizing the industry, because everybody always thinks of natural gas as, like you said, Ray, cooking your eggs with. But now what you're saying is these stations that you all are providing, mind you, providing free of cost, as you just said, these stations actually take the natural gas and turn it into like a fuel that a car or somebody who runs a giant fleet can use in their vehicles, and it's a clean, and what you're saying is actually being provided under the cost of gasoline. Is this? I just want to make sure that we're understanding this so our listeners can really take this in, because you just made some huge statements. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here, because this is amazing.
It is amazing. It's the future. I mean, do you remember when you used to have a typewriter? There's no typewriter stores out there anymore. And same thing, gasoline and diesel, their days are numbered. They're too dirty. They come from a supply chain of monopolies. Now we have something that right here in this country, we're not going to let foreign oil steal our American energy jobs. We're going to convert this country to natural gas. And, you know, there's over 20 million vehicles in the world running on natural gas as we speak. Unfortunately, there's less than 200,000 in the United States because we have had horrible regulation. And what happened was the energy companies, when they started drilling wells for natural gas, about 2005, before 2005, 30% of the wells would be dry holes. The technology developed in 2005, so now they hit 100% of every hole they drill. There's such a glut of natural gas in the U.S. and in the world, it's amazing. And so those producers, those gas producers, looked around and said, this needs to go into transportation. Why isn't it going into transportation? So they realized that a bunch of regulation had been written to make it very hard for it to go into transportation, and now they've worked together with the American Gas Association and others to remove those barriers so that we can get more and more vehicles running on natural gas. And now we've had incentives actually from the federal government of 50 cents a gallon for the last 20 years. Now, we don't need the incentive, quite frankly, to still provide it to our customers at a 15% no money up front deal. But the 50 cent a gallon tax incentive from the federal government just makes it that much nicer. We're able to provide our projected returns on an investment, as an example today, a $100,000 investment over 5 years, it gets you $1.3 million without the tax benefits, and with the tax benefits, it jumps to $1.8 million. Because the 50 cents that the government gives you is not taxable income. That's an incentive, and that's a lot of money. So basically what we do is we buy the raw natural gas, and then we pay for the amortization of the station and the vehicle conversions. And that, so if you take $3 and we save the customer 15%, that means we're selling it for $2.55. Let's say we take 50 cents out of there for natural gas. It still leaves us and another $1 out for the vehicle conversions and the station amortization. Let's throw another 50 cents in it somewhere. We end up with 45 cents a gallon profit. Now that's in today's oil and gas prices. You know, oil's going to go up, and when it does, you're going to see they're already talking about $4 in California, and I think that was on the national news the other night that they're going to have that before Memorial Day. With the tax credit, we make 91 cents profit. That's after amortization. So we're getting into the kind of profits that they used to project, you know, companies like Microsoft and companies like Google and companies like Facebook. This is extraordinary, remarkable returns. And the only reason we can do that is because we're competing with an industry that has monopolized it for decade after decade after decade. And we have literally billions of gallons of demand, hundreds of billions of gallons of demand.
Absolutely. I mean, you just look at all the cars on the road in just one specific city, multiply that by basically the world, and your marketplace is huge for this.
And Ray, and I think also, Ray, you know, you also said something too. You think that these monopolies, but you've also seen a change in society, specifically in the U.S., where we want our independence. I think that you've seen like a social change in the United States where more Americans are looking to become independent of foreign oil. And you've also seen, just like the revolution of information that Google provided and the revolution that, you know, social integration that Facebook provided for social networks, you may be on the cusp of, that social change that, now you have a vehicle that can provide people who are looking for that foreign, the independence from foreign oil. You may actually have the solution for these customers and these users. So I think that's an amazing thing, and I think that everything has to balance out, like they say, that stars have to align. But you're really seeing a social consciousness of people wanting to move away, like all the electric cars that are going in there. And now, if people are actually given a different or an alternative fuel to fuel their cars besides oil, I think there's going to be a big shift in that, and I think that you guys are banking on that shift. And Ray, if I may, our segment that we do here on the Reg A Money Show is called Qualifiers, because we like to talk to companies that have gone through the Securities and Exchange Commission and have qualified their offering. Can you tell us a little bit about, I know that you guys got qualified, I think, last month in January. Can you tell us a little bit about that process and a little bit about your offering that's now listed with the Securities and Exchange Commission as a qualified Reg A Plus Tier 2 offering?
Yes. It took us about a year to get through the SEC. We had to get audited financials and so forth. We did all of that. We jumped through all the hoops, and they did qualify us on the 10th of January. And so the qualification is to sell up to $35 million worth of securities at $7 a share. We haven't started selling yet, but we are taking reservations. And if anybody wants to contact me and get more information on how they can buy some of our securities, that would be great. I can be contacted at 707-548-6560. That's my cell phone. And you can go on to our website, AGT, which stands for American Gas and Technology. So AGT LNG, which is liquid natural gas, AGTLNG.com, and that'll give you'll see our factory and several things.
Well, yeah, I can't. Ray, you're a very brave man. You just gave out your cell phone to all of our listeners. So, guys, be gentle with Mr. Tate. Send him an email. But what we're gonna do for all you listeners out there who are interested in American gas and technology, Ron, and Ron's magic with all his links and his press releases. What we're going to do is we're going to draw everything up for you guys. It's going to be posted on IPO to go. It's going to be posted on the regamoneyshows.com's website. You guys are going to be able to pull down Mr. Tate's information, his email, his website, because as you're listening here on the Reg A Money Show with Ron Costa, Miguel Dotres, and we have the CEO of American Gas and Technology with us today on today's show, Mr. Ray Tate, who has a qualified offering. Now, he took him a 1 year to get through the PCAOB audit. He's jumped through all the hoops. He's gone through the SEC rigmarole, and he's come out on the other side with a shining qualification on the best day to do that, on January 10th, 2018, because that's my birthday, so that's a really good date to have a qualified offering. And he is now qualified. Now, they're taking reservations, so that means that you guys are going to have to make a line to kind of get your information to Mr. Tate, so that way he has your information. It's kind of like Ray, and tell me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of like a testing the waters when you try to make a reservation. Are you guys testing the waters now, or are you guys actually just taking reservations and not actually listing the stock? With a broker dealer, are you guys like self-representing?
We are talking to broker dealers, but we haven't decided on any ones that we're going to use. We're also talking to institutional investors that are interested in kind of swallowing some very large chunks. They would like to buy in and us not go public. They'd like to wait until we have 24 of our machines with customers, so that we can go public at about $50 a share instead of $7. So we're kind of on the fence. We're taking reservations. We're leaning toward selling out the Reg A Plus, because we really want Americans to get in front of it instead of a bunch of bankers. So,
yeah, and listen, Ray, we here Ron and I have been on the soapbox of Reg A since